have you been eating, my friend? Look at those teeth. Okay, so whenever we talk about food and how it impacts your health, there's often one part of the body that we tend to overlook, and it's the gateway to all the beautiful food that you eat. That's right, I'm talking about your mouth, okay? So does food really affect your smile? And can your dinner affect the health of your gums and your teeth? Stains, cavities, cracked teeth. We're going to dig deep to find out the true root of these problems, some of which might actually surprise you. What is it that you're doing wrong? Or worse, what is it that you're not doing at all? Are there really foods out there that will help your teeth become clean, shiny, and white? It's time to investigate the love-hate relationship between food and your mouth. Smile if you can. Here we go. We've all been here before, the dentist's office. Or at least I hope you've been here before. But there's some people who are absolutely terrified of sitting in the dentist's chair. There are other people who can breeze through it, no drama at all. And then in the third category, there are people who absolutely avoid it. The truth of the matter is most people ignore dental health altogether until it's too late, until you have the pain in your mouth, and that's the only time you call the dentist. That's not so good. But on the other hand, everybody loves food. But it's such a strange paradox that some of the food that's healthy for you can actually be ruining your smile. The truth is, food can literally destroy your teeth and take away all the pleasure from eating. But first things first, when it comes to oral health, what you don't eat is just as important as what you do eat.
Having good oral health comes from having healthy teeth and healthy gums. And good nutrition helps to ensure that different parts of the mouth actually receive vital nutrients to ensure that the soft tissue and the hard tissue in the mouth will be able to carry out the functions they're supposed to have in the oral cavity.
An almost instant reaction happens as soon as you put food into your mouth. And some of the most potent foods are actually carbs and sugars. There's millions of bacteria living in your mouth, and no amount of brushing or rinsing could ever get rid of them all. And here's the thing, the bacteria feed off the same food as you do, converting the carbs and sugars into acids. Acid in your mouth sounds as bad as it is. The acid attacks the enamel, which is the protective layer of your teeth, the shiny bits. Scary, huh?
The one big villain in our mouth would be acid. If you look at our teeth under a microscope, you would see that they're made of minerals. Anything with a mineral content would be susceptible to acid attack. The acid coupled with the bacteria clumps would slowly dissolve at the mineral, and what you see in real life would be a cavity.
Anything that has a pH value of 7 is considered neutral, and that would be something like water. For anything that has a pH value of less than 7, is considered acidic. Whereas on the other hand of the spectrum, where it is alkaline, and that would be having a value of 7 or above.
Whereas some foods like citrus fruits, carbonated drinks, tomatoes, wine, and coffee are acidic, others, like the almighty sugar, are actually neutral. So you want to have beef. Sorry, beef is highly acidic, but vegetables like broccoli and sprouts are alkaline, so mix and match. Fruits are great, but not all fruits are the same. Grapes and blueberries are alkaline, for example. And surprise, potatoes! They are actually moderately acidic, but their skins, however, are highly alkaline. You can choose potato wedges over your regular fries.
Don't worry, you don't have to say goodbye to some of your favorite foods, but instead of eating them on their own, why not have it as part of a bigger meal? Because in that way, you can neutralize some of the negative effects. For example, one of my favorites is cheese and crackers. Not only is this a really satisfying meal, but it's definitely better for your dental health.
Be creative about using different ingredients and try to kind of offset the acidic effect of the food, but not taking away the nutrients that it should provide for that meal option.
By now, you've probably heard that acid wreaks havoc on your teeth by dissolving the minerals through a series of chemical reactions. But you've probably also heard about the tooth in cola experiment. Cola is acidic, and if you put a tooth in there, it's supposed to dissolve. But is that for real?
We asked a science teacher to help us out with a simple experiment. Dan is going to test if cola is as corrosive as the legend says by comparing it to other common liquids. We're replacing teeth with eggshells, since they are of similar composition, both primarily made out of calcium.
In this experiment, I put some eggs in different liquids and left them there for 24 hours. Every good experiment has a control, so this is what the eggs started out like, these white eggs. Here's an egg I put in coffee for 24 hours compared to what it started out like. Here's the egg I had in tea for 24 hours. You can see it didn't stain it as much as the coffee did. Here's the egg we had in cola for 24 hours. You can see what it did compared to the control. The eggshell seems intact. It does not seem to be dissolved. Here's the egg that was in cranberry juice for 24 hours. Compare that to the original. This surprised me. This seems to be the most stained of all the liquids we tried. Here's the egg that was in lime juice for 24 hours. You can see that the color isn't much different, but it's quite rough. And when I put it in there, it started to bubble, telling me that there's a chemical reaction going on between the acid in the lime juice and the calcium in the eggshell. So here's the egg that's been in vinegar for 24 hours. You can see the color isn't much different, but the eggshell is completely gone. It's completely dissolved in the vinegar, and it bubbled quite a bit when I first put it in there. Could you imagine what vinegar would do to your teeth if you kept a mouthful of vinegar for a day?
Lesson of the day. When it comes to your teeth, do not underestimate the acidic power of food. All this talk about acids in your mouth is making me very nervous, especially because nature has only equipped us with a limited number of teeth. But if you were a rodent, for example, your teeth would never stop growing. And if you were a shark, then you would have an unlimited number of replacement teeth. But alas, we are humans, we only have 2 sets. So we have our baby teeth, which you lose when you're much younger, and then your second set, your permanent teeth, that is it. Game over. So you better take good care of them. But your body has a very clever way of fighting off all these nasty acids in your mouth, and that is saliva. So saliva not only helps to neutralize the acids in your mouth, but it also forms a protective layer and coating on the teeth, just for that added protection.
Saliva is a very important aspect towards the health of the mouth. One of the main properties of the saliva is that it acts as a buffer. With the saliva that kind of flows around the oral cavity, it actually can help to counteract that acid attack.
Coming up, sweets. They are the ultimate enemy of your teeth, but are all sweets just as bad? We take a close-up look at the nasty foods that stain your teeth. And oh boy, bad breath. What causes it, and what can you do to prevent it? So far, we've learned that your diet plays a crucial part in having healthy teeth, and that foods with a high acid content lead to faster tooth decay. But you can counter that with some smart food combinations. And now,
Presenting the top 5 teeth crackers. These could be very hazardous for your teeth, especially if you're not paying attention. So avoid the pain and pay attention. Popcorn. Oh, we love to munch on these, especially when we're watching a movie. But I know there have been times when you've bitten on a corn kernel and all you can think about is, I hope I haven't cracked a tooth.
olive pits. Sure, these are pitted olives, but some food places still sell those with the stones still intact. Just make sure to be careful when eating the Mediterranean salad.
Baguette, Dutch pretzel, biscotti. These are all delicious, but they're very hard on the teeth. I mean, there is a reason that they serve some of these breads. Something watery, like soup.
Food packaging. Yep, it's not just the food that's a hazard to your teeth. Teeth are not meant to take on plastics and packaging, so don't be lazy. Use scissors.
It's actually not a very good idea to try to actually use your teeth to try to seize and open plastic packages just so that you can get the food inside the package. That's certainly not one way that you want to abuse the original function of the teeth.
Believe it or not, ice is a big tooth cracker. That's right. You might think it's just water and it's good for cooling down your drink, but chewing on ice is a very big no-no. Do not underestimate just how hard an ice cube is. Otherwise, you'll end up here in a lot of pain. I'm sorry, honey. It's not you. It's me. Actually, wait, it is you. With all this talk about sweets being bad for your teeth, I know you're probably thinking about breaking up with your favorites. But not all sweets are made the same. There are sugar-free substitutes out there that look and taste like the real thing. But are sugar-free products better for your teeth, or are you in for another disappointment?
Artificial sweeteners also contain sugar. When they say sugar-free, sometimes it's very misleading because they use sugar substitute. Even the sugar substitute can also be a substrate for bacteria in our mouths to feed off and eventually release acid.
I guess the rule is quite simple. If it's sweet, just be on the safe side and brush your teeth. Keep those pearly whites nice and clean. Oh, and speaking of pearly whites, stained teeth are a common problem that a lot of people face. But believe me, in this world of social media and selfies, you don't want to be that person advertising multicolored teeth. It is just not a good look. So, what are the worst foods when it comes to staining your teeth? Well, surprisingly, what you eat is not a very big deal, because what stains your teeth the most are actually beverages. Colas, tea, coffee, and red wine are some of the culprits. And prevention is quite simple. Reduce the amount you consume. But what if you, like me, can't function without having a coffee first thing in the morning? Are there any natural solutions that can whiten your teeth? A quick internet search came up with a few homemade concoctions that promise to whiten your teeth. Some say that you should use a baking soda and lemon paste. Others say that a strawberry, salt, and baking soda scrub will do the trick. Or you could even use the inside of a banana peel to whiten your teeth. Time to get the verdict straight from the expert.
So I will be cautious about trying out something like that. For example, sodium bicarbonate or baking soda is a very abrasive substance. So too much of it, you might actually end up eroding or weaken the enamel of your teeth. And of course, on the other hand, having ingredients such as lime or lemon, because of the acid that's in it, it can actually also over time erode the tooth surfaces. As a dental professional, currently, I would not recommend skewing towards the home remedy, but again, go with what is already available commercially on the market that has been studied and proven to be safe.
With all this chatter about looking after your teeth, you mustn't neglect your teeth's closest neighbor, your gums. The gums are a really good indicator of how healthy your mouth is. The pinker, the better. So what happens when your diet, or the lack of a good one for that matter, affects your gums?
I think a lot of time people are kind of paying attention to having white, strong teeth. But what's important too is having healthy gums to support the teeth. And to have healthy gums, load up with a lot of vitamin C's and vitamin K, because vitamin C helps in tissue regeneration and repair. And vitamin K actually is important in blood clotting. A great source of vitamin K would be green leafy vegetables.
What's your name?
Ooh, that was something. Yeah, one of the most common reasons people go to the dentist is to solve the mystery of bad breath. While some patients do genuinely suffer from bad breath, most stinky mouths just forget that they had a tuna sandwich for lunch. Coffee smells great until it's in your mouth. The caffeine in your favorite cuppa slows down saliva production. The decrease in saliva allows the bacteria that causes bad breath to grow out of control. Not a great thing, if you ask me. Garlic is great in Italian cooking, but its smell is something else. Not only does it make your breath stink so much that vampires will stay away from you, the smell is also released through your skin. Much like its stinky cousin garlic, onions contain the amino acid allicin. When cut, allicin turns to propionyl sulfonic acid, which is thought to be the chemical responsible for making you cry whenever you cut it. It's also responsible for your mouth smelling like a rotting sock.
Onions and garlic give you bad breath because they both contain some sulfur compounds that are actually intrinsically foul-smelling. And that essentially gets into your bloodstream, and therefore it takes a long time for these compounds to be exited from the body, and that's why you feel and smell bad for a long period of time.
Despite some proposed antibacterial qualities, the hard-hitting spice of curry is more likely to cause bad breath than to cure it. So beware. And there's a king of fruits, durian. You may or may not like its taste, but one thing's for sure. It stinks your breath up big time thanks to the mixture of more than 41 odor compounds. Coming up next, don't be depressed. We'll show you ways to get rid of bad breath. Are mints the only way to go? And we'll tell you what to do if you're stuck on a desert island without a toothbrush. Can you really eat an apple instead of brushing? So far, we've gotten acquainted with foods that can be a real pain for your teeth. We learned that not all sweets are the same, but you better stay away from them if you don't want to tarnish your pearly whites. But back to our pending and stinky problem. Bad breath is still one of the most common issues, so it's time to fight back.
So now that you know which foods are most likely going to cause bad breath, don't just stand there idly feeling useless. Pay attention to these tips and get ready to fight back. How to defeat bad breath. First, identify the enemy. Now, if you can't detect any bad breath, please do not be fooled, because this technique is actually highly ineffective. What you could do instead is lick the back of your hand and smell it. Or you could also take a spoon, scrape the back of your tongue, wait for it to dry, and then have a whiff. I know it's not pretty, I know it's not pleasant, but it is much more accurate. Mints. I know, no-brainer, right? They taste nice, they come in a variety of flavors, and they have a lovely smell. But I am sorry to disappoint, but mints are only a temporary solution. They only help to mask the odor, but once you've finished your mint, the bad breath comes back, and with a vengeance. Brush and floss. Brush and floss after every meal, all the way into infinity. Now, because food can actually get stuck in between your teeth, and that feeds the bacteria that gives you really bad breath. So make sure you're cleaning all the corners of your mouth. And please, do not neglect your tongue. You can either brush your tongue, or you can use a tongue scraper and get rid of all those excess food particles. Ooh, and by the way, mouthwash, that's also your friend. Something as simple as water can be enough to fight bad breath. Now, if you suffer from dry mouth, that means you're not producing enough saliva. And without that saliva in your mouth, bacteria and debris can slowly break down, and that's what causes the very unpleasant odor. So remember, stay hydrated to fight bad breath. It's really that simple. Plus, it's good for you.
This is the thing. What we do on a daily basis with brushing and flossing, there are limitations to how much the floss and the toothbrush can actually clean our teeth. And that's the reason why there are dentists and hygienists to come in and help you with the professional care so that you can take care of those areas that otherwise you can't at home.
One important tip. If your dentist asks you if you're flossing, please don't lie. They can tell if you're not taking good care of your teeth, and they are so tired of all the lying. So if you're a foodie and you really want to enjoy your food until you're old, please take care of your entry point, your mouth.
But what if you find yourself in a weird situation where you don't have a toothbrush?
So imagine you're stuck on a desert island, or you really just can't get out of this park, and you know it's getting dark, it's starting to rain, and all I can think about is, I want to brush my teeth. We've got no toothbrush, and you have no toothpaste. What do I do? You could use a washcloth, or a paper towel, or in my case, my grandmother's old handkerchief. So you wrap it around your index finger. Ideally, you want to dip that in water and scrub, but we don't have any water, so what we're gonna do, we're just gonna scrub.
If we look at the skin of our fingers, they're generally smooth and flat. It's not going to aid in anything in regards to the mechanical removal of plaque on the teeth. One good suggestion that I would give is actually use the leaves, the underside of the leaf, where it tend to be more rough, uneven, and kind of use that to kind of rub against the tooth surfaces.
I've got celery, I've got apples, what else have I got in here? Ooh, carrots, this is perfect. fibrous, crunchy fruits and vegetables that can be really good, because when you get that crunch in your mouth, it can help to fight off some plaque and really get rid of some stubborn stains. The thing is, this could have some sugar. So now what?
Is apple really 100% good for the teeth? It will come down to whether you are having a green sour apple or you're having a generally red apple. Generally, I would say that most red apples, they are friendly and they're healthy to go with. So yes, on the red apples. It also has that crunchy texture to it, so that when we are chewing on it, it actually helps to clean some of our tooth surfaces as we're chewing it in our mouth.
Oh, look, a tea bag. I guess that could work. You know, you could use it as a mouthwash. It's supposed to fight off plaque and help prevent gum disease, blah, blah, blah. But do I have any hot water? No, I don't think so. The exit!
I know what you're thinking. There must be a natural solution for oral care, right? Well, if you're really keen on a homemade solution, there's actually one food item that really helps.
Salt and water. Salt has antibacterial qualities that can help reduce some of the plaque-building germs in your mouth. You can even use it as mouthwash. But take note, if you have metal fillings, you don't want to use too much salt because it can be corrosive. So there you have it. And spoiler alert, the tooth fairy does not exist and will not solve all of your problems. If you lose your teeth because of your bad diet, sorry dear, you're not gonna get any money back and you have to pay that bill all by yourself. And it's not gonna be cheap. We've definitely given you a lot to chew on in this episode, huh? Okay. Teeth and gums are some things you should be giving as much attention to as your menu. After all, the food that you eat directly affects your mouth. So if you're having something too sweet, you might get cavities. Have something too hard, you might crack your tooth. Eat something smelly, you might have some funky breath. And after all, cleaning is part of eating too, folks, so please do not ignore that. And if you don't have a toothbrush or a toothpaste, it doesn't mean that you can't clean your teeth. So hopefully with these tips and tricks, you'll keep your pearly whites white.